In this Palworld Fate Break video, I bring you 10 plus advanced tips and tricks I feel every player needs to know about. How's it going, guys? My name is DPJ, and if you do enjoy the video, leaving a like really helps out, and if you like what you see and want to see more, be sure to subscribe. Okay, so 10 plus advanced tips and tricks to help you and your progression out, so let's get straight into it. So did you know that the Palworld Labor Research Lab works from multiple bases? Meaning if you have 2 bases and you have one of these in each, you can set a task from one base and have your pals in the other base complete the research task for you. Did you also know that you can have more than one of these active at the same time, meaning multiple pals can work together to complete the research faster? I actually made a video, I made a guide on a base dedicated to this where I set up 25 research stations and had 25 pals at the ready who could complete these research nodes in an instant as soon as I started them up from my other base. This allowed me to complete all the research nodes I wanted in no time at all, and that's a video I'll link in the video description if you guys are interested in checking it out. Did you guys also know that you can have more than one expedition site? Yes, you can, but you are limited to 1 per base. So if you have multiple bases, guys, you can have multiple of these. And all of these things are absolutely massive. You can actually place half of the expedition site outside your base and still put it down. Did you also know that you can drastically speed up these expedition runs by using pals which have a higher firepower? Now the firepower is determined by the level of the pal in regards to pal souls spent on said pal and stars tied to it, which comes from using the condensation machine. So with the right pals people and the right levels, you can actually bring the timer down to 5 minutes. Yes, a full run in 5 minutes. Now sticking with expeditions, did you know that travelling around the map and defeating those tower bosses on that hard mode will actually unlock more expeditions for you to send your pals out on, meaning a bigger variety of rewards too. Did you guys also know that now with the right setup within your base, it's now much faster to indeed buy cakes and use an Elizabeth or honey at a ranch than it is to wait on crops? And the setup is quite simple. Using the new gold assembly line to make ingots, which you get quickly from the ore mining sites, you can then go to the small settlement and find the NPC. I recommend here you catching and bringing them back to your base, but here you can purchase all the ingredients to make cakes besides honey. So if you set this up right, people, you can make thousands of cakes in no time at all. And all you really need to set this up to make it efficient as possible is the gold assembly line, the ore mining site too, to obviously get that ore, people. A forge of any kind to make those ingots, use the then gold assembly line to make that gold, use a ranch and an Elizabeth to make that honey, buy the remaining ingredients from the NPC and then just make cakes. It's a much faster method which has seen me having more cakes than I'm ever going to need. Now sticking with breeding, it was thought, in fact I heard it and thought it too, that pals with those work rate passives breed faster. This under my testing definitely doesn't seem to be the case, but the philanthropist passive on a pal would definitely speed up breeding. Only really useful though in my opinion if you're in a rush to breed pals to condense them into another, or if you plan on mass butchering. Did you also know that the guild chest is a great place to store food because it stops all foods from decaying, from spoiling? This means, guys, if you build a guild chest within a base dedicated to crops, instead of having pals transport the food and ingredients into a fridge, you can always make them take said items to the guild chest so it does indeed never spoil. Another benefit to this is having multiple bases for such and having a guild chest in each, having that one guild chest in your farming base or your crop base and having your pals taking it to your guild chest. Then from your main base you can automatically cook food from the guild chest, which is just a great way of setting things up. Okay, so moving on. So the monitoring stand is a great way to have pals do certain tasks in the sense of you being able to disable certain work suitability traits on said pals. But there's also a better option with the monitoring stand which allows you to actually set pals to individual tasks depending on what you have active in your base, including breeding and workstations. So if you have a certain pal that you want to do only one thing, this is another great way to see that that's a task they quickly get on with. Did you also guys know that the sphere homing module not only semi-tracks, shall we say, towards that certain PAL, but if you throw a second one while a PAL is being caught inside of a sphere, that second one you've thrown, if you have on that homing module, will spin on the spot and wait to see if that PAL escapes that sphere. If it does, it will be instantly caught again, the cheeky bastard. So yes guys, homing spheres are actually super decent. Now did you guys know that completing the PAL Crucix hidden quest line, that you have a chance for those applied technique books to drop within supply drops? It's a rare thing to see, but it can indeed happen. If you have no idea what the PAL Crucix quest line is, I will link the full guide in the video description. Now after the latest patch, they buffed chances for the new favourite legendary schematics to drop from those oil rig chests. But as great as this sounds guys, the rates are still piss poor. Yes, so these schematics drop from the new oil rig large chests, but even now, even after the latest patch, even with that applied buff, to get the new legendary schematics, your odds are still only a 1.25% chance. As for everything else great, including the 1 in 1000 chance of you getting the applied technique books from these large oil rig chests, you can see your drop chances on screen now. Okay, so lastly for today's video, let's talk about Yakumo. This PAL has a unique partner skill that means if this dude's out at your side when you catch a certain PAL, there's a chance that the PAL you catch will have the passives on it that your particular Yakumo has who's out at your side, meaning your Yakumo can pass on its passives to PALs you're currently out in the open world catching. This means that when it comes to catching PALs that you want with certain passives on, it's an easier option, isn't it? Well it is, but it ain't at the same time. Yakumo here needs to be fully maxed out in regards to being a 4-star PAL before you have a 30% chance of passing down just one of his passives. This means when you calculate the odds, people, to pass on all 4 passives, you have a under 1% chance. Now although it is still a chance, I do feel the correct way of doing this and the quicker way of doing this is to arguably have 2 Yakumos maxed out with 2 passives that you want on the PAL you're catching on each. This means guys, you have 1 out at your side, constantly catch that 1 PAL you want until you catch it with the 2 passives on. Then guys, switch to your other Yakumo, then simply catch again guys until you get the same PAL with the other 2 passives on you want. Then guys, simply breed the 2 PALs you've caught together until they breed a baby with all 4 passives. This is a much quicker way in my opinion than using 1 Yakumo trying to catch the same PAL with all 4 passives on, where you only have a 1% chance of passing on all passives. I believe to pass on 2 passives is a 10% chance, which is a lot better than an under 1% chance. Still not as good as a 30% chance, but hey, it's still only a chance. That's enough chances guys, and the end of the video has now arrived. If you enjoyed it, leaving a like really helps me out. If you like what you see and want to see more of Palworld, be sure to subscribe, and hopefully guys, I will see you on that next one.